this edition of News Leader on 6. I'm Jim Fuller. In tonight's news, Tullahoma City Schools has announced details about high school graduation. Tullahoma High School band members perform a mini Zoom concert, and we'll have the conclusion of our interview with Isaiah 117 Director Susan Johnson. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's News Leader on 6.
Here at Stan McNabb Collision Center, we work with all major insurance companies, and we get the job done right the first time, on time.
Well, I grew up in Tullahoma. We'd always done business with Stan McNabb, so when we needed collision service after a run-in with a deer, we knew to call those guys. We already had trust with them. We called Cody. He took great care of us. He kept us posted every step of the way, and we couldn't have been more pleased.
Getting your vehicle back to pre-loss condition shouldn't be a headache. So in event of an accident, contact me, Cody Hall, at Stan McNabb Collision Center.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Welcome back. The City of Tullahoma has announced the opening of lobbies at City Hall, the Police Department, and both Fire Hall 1 and 2 on Monday, May 11th. City Court resumed operations Tuesday, May the 12th. All citizens will be asked to wear face coverings and maintain social distancing inside the building. During court sessions, staff will be taking temperatures, and anyone with a reading greater than 100 degrees will not be allowed to enter the court. Court dates will be rescheduled. If citizens have a cough and fever, they are asked to stay home. Citizens may join in watching the City Board meetings the second and fourth Mondays of the month at 5:30 p.m. The Tullahoma Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting will be broadcast live using Facebook Live, as well as broadcasting to Charter Channel 193 and LightTube Channel 6. The meeting agendas are available on the city website. Public comments for the board may be submitted to mayor at tullahomatn.gov or call City Hall at 931-455-2648. Any comments received prior to the close of business on Monday of the meeting will be read into the record during the meeting. To protect Tullahoma's vulnerable population, citizens are encouraged to consider calling or emailing for assistance before visiting public facilities. Often transactions can be completed by phone and or email. The Tullahoma High School Class of 2020 graduation ceremony will take place next Friday, May the 22nd. The ceremony will be a drive-up diploma presentation at Wilkins Stadium. No spectators will be allowed at the stadium. School officials announced that students and families have been informed to arrive at designated areas from 1 to 6 p.m. to be in place for the procession. As graduates arrive at the football stadium, they will step out of their vehicles to walk across the stage on the football field and receive their diplomas. Students will then return to their vehicles and depart the area. Students can decorate their graduation caps and vehicles. Each student will be allowed a maximum of 2 vehicles. All of the speeches will be pre-recorded. The ceremony will air in its entirety on Charter Channel 193 and LightTube starting at 1 p.m. on Friday, and then a condensed version will replay. Tullahoma High School band members held a remote performance this week. Let's watch that video. Stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages.
I'm Philip Bourne, Statement Now Detail Shop Manager. Here are a few things our customers have to say about our service.
What I love most about the Stem McNabb Detail Shop is there's someone local that I can trust to pick up my car, have it cleaned, and deliver it back to me in showroom condition.
What really amazed me is when he opened the hood and looked like he had taken the old engine out and put a new engine inside.
We have several different packages and individual services to get your vehicle looking like new again. We're located just behind Stem McNabb Chevrolet dealership. Call today, schedule an appointment, and see what the difference our detail can make.
You made the time and the sacrifice to broaden their horizons, to see their smiles, but mostly to make lifelong memories. We think it's time to do it again, just the two of you. Don't let illness or injury slow you down. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
He's a little bit of you, he's a little bit of me. He's the trash along the roadside of Tennessee. He's the garbage that we find. He's the dream we left behind. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. A throwaway bottle or pop-top can may not seem much to a traveling man, but a little bit of litter goes a long, long way. And I grow and get bigger every day. Tennessee trash messing up the highways. Tennessee trash junking up the byways. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash.
We have met the enemy, and he is us.
Welcome back. We now continue with part 2 of Tuesday's interview with Isaiah 117's Susan Johnson.
We decided to reach out to DCS and see if they have some families that have been hit really hard right now and if they may need, just a little extra loving on. So, they're inside with their kids, and so we're trying to come up with some activities that we can send home with those kids, things that they can do to be involved and make this time a little better for them. So DCS has sent me some names, and so our volunteers are going to put some Love You're Not Alone bags together. One family's going to be getting actually a baby bed and mattress and supplies that they need to go with that. So we're hoping it'll make things a little easier for some of the families and bring them a little joy and let them know that somebody does care.
Okay. Do you have a story about a child or some siblings that have been helped recently with Isaiah 117 that you could share with our viewers?
I know that around probably Christmas time was one of the times that I can just remember off the top of my head that I had the personal interaction of getting to help. A child had been removed around Christmas time, and they were a teenager, and teenagers are very hard to place. And so we reached out because this placement was not a typical placement. The judge had to authorize it. They had no place for this child to go besides a juvenile detention center. And so thank goodness that judge really, was able to find someone that was willing to take this child in about a week before Christmas. And so with that being said, I remember sitting in my chair thinking, I've got all this Christmas shopping to do for my family that I've not done. And it's the Saturday right before Christmas. And then I thought of that child and thought, was that foster family able to go and even get the things that child needed? Did that child take anything with them? What about Christmas? Were they going to have anything? And so I reached out to some people, and everybody wanted to help. And so we were able to buy some things for that child for Christmas, and then just, supply the needs. And I was able to go and do that delivery. And it was very special to see that child come in and the look on their face. And I get emotional because I kept thinking, I don't want to cry when I saw that teenager. And I said, we just want you to know someone cares and that we love you, and we're going to walk this journey with you. And my son was with me, and he's 24, and you should have seen the look on his face when we got in the car. He said, when that child came in, he said, the look on their face, and then when we were leaving, the difference in that look. Just knowing that somebody cares. And so I was able to give them my card and said, whatever this child needs, wherever they go, school supplies, clothes, whatever, that's what we're here for. But they knew when I came in, they said, you're from the Isaiah 117 house. So I was just glad to be able to help.
Yes, definitely. So can you tell us how Isaiah 117 is funded? And if somebody wants to help out, how can they get in touch with you or the organization for that?
We're funded primarily through donors, churches, donations, and some private grants. So if someone wants to make a donation, there's a couple ways they can do it. They can reach out to me. My number is on our Facebook page, Isaiah 117 House, Coffee, Franklin, and Grundy. I'll be glad. Some people want to give it to you in person. That's fine. Some people want to mail it to me. I can give them my address. I can also take a credit card on my phone. They can also go to Isaiah117house.com, and you click on donate, and there's a drop-down box for our 3 counties, for Coffee, Franklin, and Grundy. And you can decide there if you want to do it by check, credit card. There's tons of options. You can do it one time. You can do monthly, yearly. Right now, if you're a monthly donor, you're getting the cool Isaiah 117 House socks, and that's the only way you can get them. You cannot purchase those socks. It's only for the monthly donors. Okay.
Well, great. I appreciate you speaking with us today, and hopefully things will get back to normal, and you guys can start construction here before too long. Help out kids.
That's our goal, because there's kids still being removed no matter what's happening with the virus. And it's a hard time on kids because they're home and no one's able to see those kids sometimes to report what's going on. So it'll be nice for things to get back to normal where we can really lay eyes on these kids.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you so much.
More news is coming up in a moment.
It's not Invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community, because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family, caring for your family since 1932.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department. Need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
Welcome back. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee updated the state's COVID COVID-19 response with Executive Orders number 36 and 37 on Tuesday. We now go to his press conference where he elaborated on changes and continuations of the orders and how they will affect Tennesseans.
I'm signing Executive Order 36. It really is a continuation of previous efforts to help Tennesseans in the midst of a life that includes and should include social distancing. So this order maintains extended deadlines like motor vehicle registrations, handgun carry permit deadlines. It suspends inspection requirements, all in an effort to avoid unnecessary person-to-person contact. It also maintains increased opportunities for folks to work distantly and to work from home. It continues provisions to ensure that Tennesseans have expanded access to health care through telehealth opportunities. Should our case see an increase in COVID-19, it provides for the rapid expansion of healthcare workers by extending the lifting of regulations around what healthcare workers can do in the midst of a pandemic. Tennessee consumers, because of this executive order, will continue to have supply chain and price gouging protections. It also gives you the ability to get 90-day prescriptions on certain prescriptions. So as we're challenged with moving through life over the next period of weeks, staying socially distanced but engaging more and more in work and efforts outside of our homes, we've worked to minimize the regulatory burden on Tennesseans through that process. That's what this executive order will do, is continue to lift those burdens through the next several weeks. In recent weeks, we've made several announcements about our efforts to focus our COVID-19 testing efforts on vulnerable populations. We've done that in many places across the state, and we continue to do that. This week, we're talking specifically about our efforts to expand testing in a greater way to people with developmental and intellectual disabilities. They often have underlying health conditions that make them more vulnerable to the complications of COVID-19. So the State Department of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, or DID, is partnering together with the Department of Health to test more widely in our service delivery system, to include persons that receive services through DID, who live in intermediate care facilities for people with intellectual disabilities, and the Employment and Communities First Choices program. The first testing opportunity will be this Friday at Scott County. DID will be using their mobile clinics in partnership with department nurses who have special training with persons with disabilities, and we are estimating that there will be about 12,500 tests for this population over the coming weeks, and we're proud to be supporting this section of our population, this community within Tennessee. Commissioner Turner with Department of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities is here with us today to answer questions should anyone have any. Today we had our second meeting of our Financial Stimulus Accountability Group. It's a bipartisan effort to work together to set a framework for how it is that we spend the stimulus and the federal relief dollars that are coming to Tennessee specifically through the CARES Act. It's a bipartisan group, it's co-chaired by Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally, Speaker Sexton, Senator Ackberry, Senator Watson, Representative Love, and Representative Marsh. Comptroller Wilson is on that team as well. And that team is working together to create this framework as we have received the first tranche, or the first portion of funding from the federal government. With that money comes guidance from the federal government, and that guidance changes. It's added to every few days. So as we gain additional guidance, then we'll make additional decisions about how this money is going to be spent. Our strategy is to set aside a portion of that funding to backfill revenue losses should Congress give us the authority to do that. We also want to set aside funds to make sure we maintain our unemployment insurance trust fund sufficient to provide unemployment benefits to the many Tennesseans who have found themselves without a job. We want to use this funding to have creative and innovative ways to give relief to business owners who are employing those Tennesseans and who have been especially hit by the closures as a result of COVID-19.
More news is coming up in a moment.
Clayton has been Tullahoma's family shoe store for over 100 years with a reputation for fashion and personal service. And the tradition continues today. Stop by Clayton and see our large selection of fine shoes.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game.
The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Welcome back. Governor Lee introduced General Holmes, who spoke about extended testing efforts in Tennessee, took some questions, and the governor closed with some words of encouragement to the citizens.
As part of the governor's strategic objective through the Unified Command Group to provide testing for every Tennessean, free and voluntary testing for every Tennessean, we're working with the cities of Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville, and Chattanooga, specifically with the Housing Authority and the local health department officials. And we're going to be working in each one of the cities, multiple locations, and we're providing basically support for the local health departments in order to provide these testing stations. There'll be anywhere from 5 to 14 individual sites within each of the cities, and we'll be staffing that and supporting that with approximately 6 to 8 National Guardsmen. Additionally, the Department of Human Services will be providing assistance with emergency cash assistance, child care for essential workforce, and supplemental nutrition assistance program, and temporary assistance for needy families. So there'll be a number of stations set up alongside our testing facilities and opportunities to gain information and apply for various programs.
Good afternoon. General Holmes, you mentioned the National Guard mobile testing in Nashville and other big cities. I just want to be clear, is this supplemental to the community assessment centers already in Davidson County? And could you describe how those mobile testing centers will work and how soon they would go into play?
Yes, sir. So these are supplemental. So these sites are self-sustaining. They're usually set up under a portico or tentage or things like that. It's actually a fairly small footprint. They're very similar to our drive-up testing sites. Obviously, we don't need the space that we would for a drive-up testing site. So there's been a number of tents. Department of Human Services will have tents and chairs and tables there to fill out paperwork and things of that nature. So that's the plan. It's very coordinated. Each of the sites are unique into either condensed housing or separate individual housing units and things of that nature. So our goal is to set up in a common area, typically one that's easy access for the residents, and then promote that. Obviously, we want all the residents to feel free to come out and get tested, so we want to make it as convenient as possible. And if the weather, inclement weather, we'll have inclement weather plans, so we possibly could move indoors to either a community room or some structure like that to protect from the weather.
I want to thank Tennesseans again, as I do at the end of most of these, for doing what you're doing. We actually talked today about those of you who are following the Tennessee Pledge. If you don't know what it is, look it up. If you walk into a business, you ought to ask them if they've looked up and responded to the Tennessee Pledge. It's an individual responsibility that Tennesseans are taking and I'm proud of the way they're doing it. It gives me great hope. It should give you great hope that we can, in fact, protect one another and protect our citizens and provide for the health and safety of Tennesseans, while at the same time we begin to move this state's economy forward in a way that will help those that are struggling, that are unemployed, that are in particular need right now economically. So I believe we can do that. I have a great deal of hope for it, and I hope that you do as well. Do your part, stay apart.
Stay with us. Your weather forecast is coming up next.
My wife Jackie has always been the life of the party, but things changed when she couldn't be as active anymore.
They told me I needed a double knee replacement.
It's not as big a deal as it used to be, but she still needed to go to rehab.
I was amazed at how good the therapists were at Life Care. They took really good care of me.
They took excellent care of her. And now she's back doing the things she loves, and that makes everyone happy.
Life Care Center of Tullahoma wants you to get active and live well.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's going to be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor, too, when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1943 at 91 degrees. The record low was in 1910 at 35 degrees. The average high on this day is 77, and the average low is 54. Partly cloudy weather in the forecast for tonight with a low of 63. Partly cloudy weather again expected on Friday with a high of 81 and a low of 61, and some scattered storms in the forecast for Saturday with a high of 83 and a low of 62. And that's our news leader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for News Leader on 6. You have a great evening.